Tonight on Police College, the recruits must master the protocols of first response.
It's their turn now to show us that they can perform.
From analysing a crime scene,
the greater the force, the finer the blood spatter will be.
To dealing with the general public.
Special fuck off, man!
You're dealing with real people, see, the unknown factor is just massive.
As they count down to the final 3-hour exam.
You start at the bottom, you work your way back up to the top, and that's what I intend to do here.
"17 weeks into their training, the recruits have mastered everything from firearms to the powers of arrest.
Jesus!
Turn around! Get your hands away from your eyes!
We've been drilled on all our appointments, our ASPs, our handcuffs, OC sprays.
Stand up! Stand up!
There's a million and one things you need to know, and you've got to come here to do it. You couldn't walk straight out on the street and do this job.
They snap you into focus about what you're possibly going to be dealing with out there.
And now, with graduation just 2 weeks away, the pressure isn't letting up.
You wake up in the morning, and to try and see how everything's going to fit in one day, it can be quite difficult at times.
In this episode, the recruits must face 2 hurdles: the protocols of first response and the final written exam.
There's 14 books in total.
It is a little bit like learning your ABCs again, except it's about learning 100 alphabets as opposed to 1.
I've just come home and I just want to forget about the police for sort of half an hour before I have to go and open my books and spend 4 hours trying to work your way through what you've done that day and study for an exam.
Failure to pass either will mean their career in the police is over at the last hurdle.
As police officers, the first few years of your career will involve you attending crime scenes, interviewing victims, recording their statements and completing the complaint files. Once you finish the classroom sessions, we're up to the barracks for our formative assessment. Now, this is your first time that you will be assessed by the instructors, and you're going to have to pull all the stops out to make sure that you impress us with your skill.
And that's a prospect which is already making recruits Sean Muir, Anita Rowland and Tamsin Looney extremely nervous. Over 8 days, they're versed in the protocols of crime scene investigation.
And that's your evidence to be sealed away in an envelope.
From the art of fingerprinting to how to gather and preserve crucial evidence.
The greater the force, the finer the blood spatter will be, down to the very, very finest spots which occur when there's been a gunshot wound.
And after all that, it's time to put it to the test with Staff Instructor Alan Richards.
We've given them the classroom lessons on crime scene examination, and we're saying, OK, you come in now and apply your knowledge to members of staff who actually know what you should be doing.
Right, we have entry here.
Under the critical eye of Sergeant Richards, Tamsin Looney leads the investigation. For her, the journey to police college has been a long one.
Well, I wanted to become a policeman when I first left school, but there was a height restriction then. Then I became a hairdresser, but that was not to my liking. And then I was a jeweller, which repairing rings and all that saga, but that just wasn't me either.
Tamsin also took on the role of motherhood, and now the kids are at school, she's determined to realise her dream.
I've got some fingerprints here, got indentation there, whether that could be from shoe as it's coming up.
Like many of her fellow recruits, she's feeling the pressure of the course, and it's causing her to make obvious mistakes.
You've examined this and you've gathered all the evidence?
Yes, I'm quite happy there.
What about maybe footprints or marks on the floor here? Did you have a look before you moved in?
Not really.
No.
So we can learn one thing.
Yes.
That when we've got a point of entry, the examination starts way
back from
the
when
point
the
of
entry. Yes.
Which in this case means vital evidence has been overlooked.
Have a look behind the chair.
Right, it's a docket for his dry cleaning, so there we have evidence.
But that's not the only clue Tamsin has missed.
I had an actual fibre hanging off a slither of wood on the opening of the window. And for me, because I put it there, it was waving in the wind like a flag. Now examine the window frame.
Okay, you got a piece of thread.
Ah, now you've seen it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, have a look on the floor. There's some more fibres. More fibres down there. At first glance, we've got a few things. And then you start to examine. So this is going to put you in good stead for next week.
Very much so.
Your formative assessment. Well done, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you for that.
Okay, good.
That was an embarrassment. I mean, I should have seen it. A chair there, and you just don't think. But in the real world, you know, out there, would have.
What we try to make sure that they understand is a sloppy job on the first day means horrendous troubles later on and maybe no success.
For Tamsin, it's a huge blow to her confidence, especially with the final assessments fast approaching.
You know, a few cracks are starting to show, pressure, exams are coming on, just bang, bang, bang.
But she's not the only recruit feeling the pressure.
The amount of people that wake up in the middle of the night and their head is full of things we've been going over in class. It's not 9 to 5, it's just about 24/7, it's, you know, full on.
In 8 days' time, the recruits at Wing 223 sit their final written exam. And some of these recruits may not have the grades they need to graduate.
I've tried to each night put some study notes down, but as the exam creeps closer and closer, the study notes have gone out the window. I think I'm not a crammer, but I'm definitely a panicker.
Coming up, Tamsin faces her big assessment, and it's not looking too good.
You didn't make any notes, you didn't record what you found in the
I should have made a sketch.
And when it comes to facing the public, things get even worse.
Let's have a fucking fight. Come on! Come on! Let's have a fucking fight!